Do you ever wonder what lies beneath the surface? Not your couch cushions, I'm talking about Earth's untapped treasures. Welcome to EarthLabs Expeditions, where I dig deep into the world of junior mining exploration. Grab your hard hats, folks, because this isn't your average treasure hunt. I'm Jonathan Braza, a mechanical engineer, firefighter, avid world traveler, and a rookie junior mining investor. And full disclosure, I know next to nothing about mining. But that's the fun part. Join me as I travel the world learning the ropes of the exploration and mining industries. Together, we'll decode the secrets of the earth and reveal the potential fortunes hidden beneath our feet. So, if you're ready for a wild ride through the highs and lows of junior mining, buckle up. This is EarthLabs Expeditions. A quick 4-hour flight of 1,600 miles or 2,600 kilometers brings us from our hometown of Toronto, Ontario, to the capital of the state of Utah. Welcome to Salt Lake City, the gateway to our next adventure. Nestled between the Wasatch Range and the Great Salt Lake, this bustling city is our starting point for an epic journey into the heart of Nevada. Just across the state line, Surge Battery Metals is leading the charge in the hunt for lithium, a critical component in the batteries that keep our world moving. No trip to Utah is complete without a quick stop at the Salt Flats. The Bonneville Salt Flats were formed by the evaporation of an ancient lake, Lake Bonneville, and cover around 30,000 acres between Utah and Nevada. And for all of our viewers out there wondering...
Oh, wow! Confirmed. Very, very salty.
It turns out the flat, hard surface of the Salt Flats also makes them ideal for setting land speed records. Although, just a heads up, the folks at Surge Battery Metals warned us that it's probably not the place to test the limits of your rental car.
Not squishy at all.
And of course, like any good explorers, we took the opportunity to confirm that hypothesis for all of you.
Boy, she's stuck.
That's what's in our treads right now. That's why we can't move. Side quest aside, we eventually did make it into Nevada. We're greeted by Alan Morris, a geologist with close to 40 years experience in the field, a resident of Elko, and the man responsible for staking the claims and leading the charge on exploration for Surge.
Good. Welcome to Surge Battery Metals Nevada North Lithium Project.
Really excited to be here.
Yep, this is Daniel's camp here. This is our home away from home. Our Starlink and generator. That's all we need, man. We're good to go.
All right. Hey, why don't you show us around?
Sure.
And this Nevada landscape is something else.
It's home. It's May. That's why it's so green.
This strapping lad is Daniel Chafetz.
Yeah, Dan.
A geologist, rock climber, marathon runner, and a literal master in lithium clay.
Good to have a nice cup of coffee out here in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Start the day off right.
So tell us about your setup here.
Oh, pretty central to the drill program we've got going on, as well as the field. We're going to get it mapped this summer.
Yeah.
Pretty rough roads out here.
I saw the dirt bike. Do you rip on it or what?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I'm a little worried about the mountain lions.
Do we have those here?
They've been observed on the property. I heard crashing, I turned around, and there was a mountain lion like 4 yards from me. It stopped, but then it followed him around. He got on the radio, called me in, said, hey, what's going on? I went, shoot, about a half-mile hard ride. Got down there, and out comes a cat, and out here to the end of the lot over there, and it just sat down under the shade of a juniper and kind of watched us for a while. But we went home, and we said, we saw something really cool in the field today. And she looked at it, expecting to see like an elk or something, and she said, that's a mountain lion.
And it was an inspirational cougar, wasn't it?
It is an inspirational cougar because we decided what are we going to call these claims, and we went, well, it's pretty close to David's kitty, which we went, well, great, DK. So claims and name are DK 1 through whatever, 500 now.
So we're gonna go find some lithium today, huh?
Is this it? Is this the magic stuff right here?
It is not.
No?
It's
Okay.
just a cool rock.
So this won't power my cell phone or anything?
No. But
I don't think it doesn't have the right port anyways,
right, yeah.
It certainly is vast out here, between these hills, and I'm really curious how you target something like this.
So I'm a geochemist by heart. So I went to, there's a database. I just started looking for the highest lithium values in the state. And there's a site just right over in the creek here that ran, I think, 860 parts per million lithium, which put it as the second or third highest in the state of Nevada.
So that's good.
That's good. It was very good. As we did more, we started soil grids and soil sampling, and as we kept coming up with the edge of our soil grid still being in high-grade lithium, we just keep adding claims out and sampling them. The original staking was 38 claims. We're now at 465, I think, something like that. I just go, oh yeah, 1,000 parts per million lithium in soil. Yeah, it looks good. And the numbers came from these soils, started coming in on my phone, and I'm trying to read them on my phone. I wanted to get at least what my stream sets were, and I'm going, okay, there's 1,000, that's good. There's 1,500, and I'm going, 3,000? And I'm going, no, they slipped a decimal, they ran the wrong stuff. And so I texted them up to Lynn and said, hey, take a look at these. I've got to go deal with my other guys. And she texted me back a little bit, and she says, not only are your standards are spot on, and oh, by the way, there's a 5,000 parts per million lithium in this.
Wow. So that must have been a big eureka moment for you.
It was a eureka moment for me. And then we flipped it to Surge, fall of 22. We did the drilling and came up with these 8 holes that were just way beyond our expectation.
Okay, so, you know, one of the top reasons that we're here is on CEO.ca, Surge, NILI, has a huge following, and there's a ton of people on there that are really interested in this project. There's a lot of excitement for what Surge is doing here and the discovery you guys have made. But I want to know what makes you guys excited with it. So I'll start with you, Alan. You've been here the longest. What about this project really gets you fired up?
Well, the thing that really excites me about it is that in 3 years, we've gone from soil sampling to having a resource, which is amazing. It's unheard of to me, and it's a big resource. 460 or 4.67 million tons equivalent, lithium carbonate equivalent.
And what's that worth?
At currently depressed lithium prices, that still comes in right around $90 billion.
So what is your drilling set out to do then?
This year, our drilling is concentrated primarily, there's a strip of private ground in here that we did not control previously. This spring, Greg was able to pull a deal together that we purchased 25% of the mineral rights. We're in a joint venture with a company called Evolution Mining out of Australia that owns the other 75%. We're going to drill 4 holes in this area at 500-meter centers in an area we've not been able to drill in previously.
Okay, and correct me if I'm wrong, that sort of sits in the middle of your original claims, right?
Absolutely, okay. Yeah. Beyond this, we still go a good mile or so past to the south, and the soils out there show that we've got lithium in soils out that far.
Excellent. Dan, I want to know, what is your number one thing about this project that really, really excites you and that you're most anxious to see come to fruition?
Honestly, I'm excited to see the project get built, the deposit expanded. This stuff processes well. It's higher grade than anything I've seen in the country, and it's near surface. So there's so much going for this project that is going to make it an easy project to build and develop. And I'm excited to see what that mineralogy looks like just for my own geologic interest. And hey, maybe we can find more that are similar.
You're getting me excited, and I don't even know what illite and smectite is.
That's what it's about. I'll tell you all about them. So these smectites evolved from basically volcanic glass that goes into a lake, and then eventually they transform into other clays. So a big hint, because smectites are a swelling clay, if you look at this rock, it looks like soil, but it's actually
very brittle,
rich. Yeah, and it's been exposed to the surface, so when it gets wet, it swells, and it makes this kind of popcorn texture that you see here.
Okay.
So that's the smectite clay doing that. And as it transforms, it alters, essentially, and turns into something called an NILIF, which can hold even more lithium than a smectite can.
This particular band, and there's 3 bands in the upper clay unit. The upper clay, the uppermost of those 3 tends to be the highest grade, which is great because it's also in the nearest surface. So it's easy when we start peeling back the roots here to mine it, literally just pulling back the roots to mine it, it's going to be, the best grade's going to be at the top.
So how far beneath our feet right now is that upper clay region?
About 5 or 10 feet.
Get out, 5 or 10 feet.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is about 1 of me below me, and we're into our $90 billion worth of lithium.
Yep.
Wow, that's really exciting. Okay, so we've gone through a really great history of the region, Alan, thank you for that, and how everything ended up here, how this lithium gets impregnated and born into these clays. You guys at Surge have done an amazing job of expediting an exploration plan and finding it and proving out the numbers, and you've got a lot of things underway to prove out an economic resource here. As it stands, as close as it is to us, it's still in the ground, and as such, it has no value. So how do we get the lithium from the clay that's right beneath our feet into, say, a battery of an electric car?
It's kind of a long process. The lithium is bound in the clay structure. So to free it from that structure, you have to dissolve it in acid. We're using a sulfuric acid leach to do so. Another thing that's interesting about the sulfuric acid leach is we will make sulfuric acid on site. So we'll be transporting elemental sulfur to site, which is much safer to transport. It reduces our trucking costs. And then we're going to make that sulfuric acid on site, which is an exothermic reaction, meaning that it'll generate energy and power the majority of the plant.
So hold on. Through the process of using the sulfuric acid to leach out the lithium, you're generating power?
That's exactly right. And we will potentially have a surplus of power. We could sell the additional power back to the grid.
So we have a huge deposit of lithium. We've got a refinement process that generates energy. I know a lot of things that people are concerned about, and certainly is relevant in lithium being an element that powers green technology. What's the impact on the environment and the natural world for this project?
We have a very near surface project here. We can basically dig here and then put it back behind us where we just dug.
So real-time reclamation?
Real-time reclamation.
Wow.
We as we dig up this unit, we can cover it back up and reclaim right behind us.
Okay, so the mining process would maybe move in a linear fashion from one end of the deposit to the other, is that correct?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, our goal is essentially to extract this resource and then return it to exactly what it looks like today after we're done.
Can we go have a look at what's going on now and talk about what future exploration you guys are going to do on site here?
Yep.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right, let's go.
Check it out. Hey Derek, I'm just checking on the rig. Are you ready for us to come over?
The rig is up and running, the drill is spinning. Come on over, we're ready for you.
Great, see you in a minute.
Hey, Dad, can I take this?
Safety first.
Surge's 2024 drill program is underway. We head over to the drill site to learn about the rig, the 2024 program, and the other facilities on site.
You really can't beat the view out here in northern Nevada. Now that is sweet. This hole one for the year, and the crew from Bort Longyear are here. They started this hole late last night, and they're just wrapping up hole one right now. That ain't no fucking Milwaukee drill up there.
Daniel shows me the ropes on lifting and moving the 10-foot double-walled RC drill rods.
So you have to find that center point with the right hand.
They are not light, and drill operators move hundreds of rods a day.
Hell yeah. You are strong as
It's easy to appreciate how hard the drillers work once you get your hands on one of these.
Take her away, baby. Yep. What you're doing here is reverse circulation drilling. The drill bit goes down, it's making the hole, and then you're putting pressurized air alongside the bit around to the bottom, and it's actually blasting the chunks of material, whatever it is, all the way back up here, down this hose, and you're collecting.
Yeah, the compressor usually runs about 750 psi.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah, and it's running 1,100 to 1,200 cubic foot per minute.
So what's the difference in the process and how a rig like this would operate if it was a diamond versus an RC?
So the main difference between RC and core in terms of data that you get, information that you get, is we're going to get really good geochemistry out of this.
Yep.
So a real geologist loves core, but you know, RC, we get a lot of important information, but we're also going to get structural information. So we'll be able to see faults. We'll be able to see how the beds are dipping.
Yep.
or if they're flat lying, if they're vertical, and also if there's been some offset.
Okay.
And that can go into our model and inform what the actual rocks look like.
So this hole that just wrapped up drilling today, that's the first hole of your 2024 season. Can you walk us through that whole plan for 2024?
Yeah, we've got 8 holes planned. This is one of 8. So that'll take us to 28 holes drilled on the property. All of these holes are spaced out over 550 meters, about 550 meters from where our existing resource is.
Okay.
So
is that number significant, that 550 meters?
Yes, it represents an inferred resource radius from each hole.
Okay.
So currently our first 20 holes give us about 6 acres of surface area.
Yep.
This, if we hit all of these holes in our best ore zone, in our best resource zone, we would get 7 acres additional.
So this drill program in 2024 could infer a larger resource than what you already have, more than doubling the size of it.
That's the best case scenario.
Okay.
It's unlikely that we'll double the size,
Yeah.
but it is likely that we'll expand it significantly. The lake water was essentially homogeneous and very laterally continuous. So the chemistry in that lake water was able to precipitate these minerals and capture the lithium and deposit it just over that whole lake boundary, essentially.
And I understand that Steven's the master of taking all the data that you're finding out here in the field, putting it into the computer, into a CAD type software, and really defining in 3D space what the resource looks like. How does the data that you're finding out here in the field feed into the work that Steven's doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, we come out here, we drill, we log the chips or the core, we run it through geochemistry, we refine our stratigraphy, our picks of what unit is what. We have 3 upper lithium clay rich zones and 2 lower zones. We give that data to Steven and he puts that into the model per drill hole and then correlates and interprets what the rocks are doing between hole to hole in a 3D model.
Well, guys, lots going on. So much more to come. I want to thank you guys very much for having us out here today. I learned so much and had a really great time talking with you guys. So we really appreciate it and hope to see you again soon.
Love it. Thanks, man.
Thanks very much, Dan.
Appreciate
Glad
you.
to have you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Alan. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, and wear your hard hat when you ride motorcycles.
Yeah, safety first.
Yeah, absolutely.
With the sun going down on the Nevada North Lithium Project, we say our goodbyes and set out to Elko for the night. Or so we thought.
Okay, a little stressed right now. We just left NNLP and the road was pretty squirrely on the way out. And we seem to have popped a tire. So we got a flat. We stopped to take some footage and we heard some hissing coming out of the tire. Normally, truck tires would be, 35, 40 PSI. We are on the slow countdown from 13 and we're now at 11. And we're out in the middle of nowhere. We have no cell service. We checked the back. We have a spare tire. We have a tire iron. We have a stick to operate a jack, but we have no jack. The rental car company took it out. So we are driving Mach 10, trying to get back to cell service and some solid pavement as quick as we can so we can call the rental company or a tow company and get it figured out. Just a minor amount of stress right now. It's a good thing that I'm fast as fuck. Here we are. Oh, we did it. Well, not really we. We had some help from a very kind stranger. But we got the spare back on. She's full of air. And we'll make it to Wells. We're ready for no more surprises on this trip at this point. I think we've had about enough.
Oh, that is unbelievable. It's fucking crazy.
Exhausted from a long day and a few unlucky rolls, we arrive in Elko past sundown to get some shut-eye. But Elko is just waking up. Bright and early the next morning, we set out from the hotel at 3 a.m. The team at Western Biological is conducting a helicopter survey on the property, and we have a field meeting with the owner, Margaret Welch.
Get to the chopper! Oh! Hey, thanks for stopping.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Margaret with Western Biological.
Okay, we saw you flying over there.
Yep.
Thanks for landing down and talking to us.
Absolutely.
What are you guys doing out here?
So we're doing our final breeding bird survey for the year, targeting eagles and raptor species. We could typically conduct these 2 to 3 times throughout the breeding season, which in northern Nevada in this area runs basically from January through July for eagles and more like March through July for non-eagle raptors.
Okay, great. And how's everything looking?
It's looking great. For the size of this project area, generally speaking, we have a relatively low nest density. That being said, we do have a handful of active nests in the area, typically in the buffer outside the project. But generally speaking here, we see eagles, red-tailed hawks, and occasionally prairie falcons.
Okay, great. All right, I won't keep you any longer.
Okay.
I know the pilot's waiting and you gotta go.
Okay.
Thank you so much for
Yeah,
stopping.
absolutely.
Okay, we'll talk soon.
Okay, we'll see you guys.
All right. Thank you very much for stopping, guys. That was amazing. Safe flying. Woo! Yeah, baby! The fun never ends. We got off on a little detour out in the wilderness on a little tiny path. We are really putting the beat down on this tile, let me tell you. We got stuck in the mud flats, we got a flat tire, and we've scraped a good chunk of the undercarriage and the side of it. And now we are at least an hour and a half from the next closest town and or gas station. We got 42 miles left to range. Not fully sure what we're gonna do about this, but we were close enough to the surge site, so we're gonna rip back here. Hopefully Dan's awake. Hopefully Dan is at his trailer. And most importantly, hopefully Dan has some gas that he can give us so we can get back to Wells. Hold on. Back at surge. We made it this far, but we sure can't make it out. So let's hope Dan can hook us up and get us out of here. Okay. Dan's not here. There is some gas cans. We don't know if they're full or not. Let's go check it out. Oh, please, baby. Please have gas in it. Oh, there's gas. Oh, there's more gas. There's even premium. We are set, but Dan's not here. So we're gonna have to leave him a little note and let him know that we stole the gas for his generator. It's unfortunate. We don't have any paper, but we do have tickets. So we're gonna write it on this. We're gonna leave him a little note on his door. Not only are we taking his gas, we're also gonna use his Sharpies. Oh, let's get this baby on the road. Nothing to see here.
Felony committed. With a full tank of gas and an empty jar of morals, we're back in business and headed to Elko to meet with the CEO of Surge Battery Metals, Greg Reimer. But first, we take the opportunity to explore Elko while the sun is shining. All right, well, if all that drilling didn't wet your whistle, or if you made too much money digging for all that lithium up in Nevada North backcountry, head on down to Elko and there's about 1 million places you can lose it at. You got Liberal Slots Casino, Girls Casino, 100 other ones. Too many to count. How can you not be happy in a place like this? It's beautiful, rolling countryside. There's an E on the hill. That'll make you happy. There's a casino. You can make some money or you can lose it all. It's not a small town.
I can't tell you what the population is. So if you came here looking for in-depth travel information, I have some really bad news for you. You have come to the wrong place. This pretty old hotel, I think it's probably pretty old. It's called the Pioneer. It's a 4-story building. It's got brown bricks, a little bit of gray facade. It's at 501 Railroad Street. What the fuck do you want me to say about this hotel? I'm gonna get hit. What do you guys think about cowboy hats? See what they got. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine. What can we help you?
Great. We're just spinning in real quick. We're doing a little bit about the flavor of Elko.
I'll tell you what, we'll get you the buckaroo hat. Do you know what size you wear?
I want to say 16 3/4.
16. That's 7.5.
Oh, it's a little big.
A little big, all right? So
Well, if a 7.5's a little big, I think a 16 probably wouldn't have fit.
you got it on backwards.
I got it on backwards. 7 3/8.
And that's still too big.
Still too big. Does that say Fatwood?
Atwood.
Atwood. Ooh, that feels nicer. You might say this hat is fast as. What? I don't know. What I think I have a very neutral opinion about Elko. It's not the greatest place you've ever been to. It's certainly not the worst place you've ever been to. It's got life. It's got character. I understand there's a rich mining history and a workforce here that can support a project like Surge Battery Metals and the eventual mine that it might turn into. Yeah, this place seems like a lot of fun. If I wasn't working right now, I could tell you I'd probably be doing something other than standing on the side of this street. Hey, that's where we're going. They got a mural of the star here. Okay, Greg, we finally made it down. Thanks so much for coming and enjoying a glass of wine with me today.
Cheers, yeah.
We chatted about it earlier, and now we're here in the flesh. The team that you have down here is absolutely incredible. We met with Dan and Alan and Lynn and some of the other team on site. It's really evident that everyone cares about the project and everyone believes that you guys are onto something great down here. But we need to learn about the man in charge. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you ended up in Nevada?
You know, from the front line, you know, from Alan and Dan, you know, throughout the company up to the board, we've just got a fantastic team. But Alan founded this discovery, and Alan and I have been working on it for about 3 years, and he's salt of the earth, and Dan's new to us, but he brings a different perspective, and he's great too.
You know, they really seem to trust you as a leader. And what we really want to know is, who is Greg, the CEO and the leader?
So my education history is I'm a CPA. I've been a CPA for 40 years, but I haven't done accounting for decades, and really just used what I learned as a CPA to help me in management. I spent 21 years in finance and revenue in the BC government. When I left the finance department, I was the deputy minister of revenue, and I was asked one day by the deputy minister, the premier, to take on the energy, mines and petroleum resources portfolio. I was responsible for mining policy, mining safety operations, energy policy, and you know, all that kind of stuff. The BC Hydro, the electric utility, reported into my ministry.
See how this is building into this broad scope of skills and experience they have.
Well, after I retired, I played golf every day for a while, and I didn't get better at golf, and figured that I couldn't do this for 30 more years, right? Anyway, so Alan and I talked, and you know, we need some people that know a little bit more about lithium than what I know, or even Alan for that matter.
Yeah.
And you know, amongst that list were you know, let's get some metallurgy done on the core samples that we're doing. Let's look into, you know, what it's going to take to get an exploration plan of operations permit, and you know, we got to plan our 2023 drill program, and all the usual on the ground technical stuff that you would think would come out of that type of a thought process.
Right.
But I needed to get some more lithium people involved, and one of the guys that was involved with the company at the time said, you know what, I know a guy that just sold his lithium project in Argentina, and he lives here in Vancouver, and you know, Greg, do you think I should give him a call? I said, are you kidding me? I said, give him a call. I said, who is this guy? And he said, his name's Graham Harris. And I said, oh, okay. And Graham and I met, we talked about the company, I asked him if he would come and join our board, because he had such a great resume. He had built a company in Argentina called Millennial Lithium, sold it to Lithium Americas for close to $500 million. And it was just the kind of expertise that we needed in Surge. And not only that, he had a couple of colleagues that worked with him at Millennial Lithium that he said he could bring along also.
Oh, he's bringing the whole team with him.
That's right.
Okay.
Getting the band back together, so to speak. Right.
Nice.
Graham joined the board. Graham and I talked to Ian Scarr, who was with Graham at Millennial Lithium, and Vijay Mehta, and they agreed to come on the board also. And right then, you know, the discovery of this high-grade lithium is one thing, but you know, we just added a whole bunch more expertise and credibility to the company to join in with Alan and myself.
The all-stars you already had.
That's right, to round out the expertise. You know, Vijay got to work also with a company in Vancouver called Chafetz. So, you know, lithium clay mining is mining, yes, but it's chemical engineering also.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Dan kind of gave us a bit of a breakdown on that.
yeah. So you know, we've engaged with Chafetz, and I said Vijay's leading that process. Obviously, it's his area of expertise, and you know, we took a first pass at producing lithium carbonate, and so that worked out great. We got our first pass greater than 99% purity, and now we're going for battery grade at 99.9%.
So we've been following you on the boards, and you know, and well, I don't know much about anything. You know, I'm reading and I'm talking to you, and I'm meeting with the team, and it seems like there's a plan in place here, and you guys are just lining them up and knocking them down all the way through.
Absolutely. We executed the plan for 2023. We've got a plan for 2024. We've actually got a plan for 2025 also. And we're executing the plan, and we're knocking it out of the park at every turn.
Earlier you talked about Graham and a project in Argentina, and for sure we know that there's lithium projects all around the world. Not all around the world, they're not in every country by any means, but in different parts of the country. Here you are specifically located in Nevada, in the United States of America. And from my understanding, that's a pretty key cog in the wheel of Surge Battery Metals. Can you talk to that a little bit?
You know, Nevada is probably the best state in the United States to have a mine. It's got a long history of mining. It's got mining infrastructure, from you know, expertise to positive mining policies, and you know, we've been welcomed everywhere we go, in every opportunity, whether you're sitting at the bar having a beer after a long day out in the field, or whether you're in one of the corporate offices of the government talking about your project, you're welcome. So you know, it's pretty key for us to kind of move the project forward as quickly as possible, to be in a great jurisdiction where you're welcomed like that. Kind of looking more broadly in the United States, the U.S. government has taken a policy decision to develop a battery supply chain in the United States. So, you know, the majority of batteries in the world are produced in China. And, you know, a few years ago, the U.S. government and the Biden administration has said we can't have that. We can't have that for national security reasons. We can't have that, you know, to go through this change that we're going through in this green energy revolution. Surge is going to be a key player in securing America's domestic lithium battery revolution. And you know, with that, we'll bring a whole bunch of benefits to the community here in Elko County. Frankly, everything that we've done this year so far, it's like the company growing up step by step. We published the MRE, the Maiden Mineral Resource Estimate. That was a milestone. So we've grown up a bit. We've made lithium carbonate. We've grown up a bit more. You know, we've got another kind of drill program. That's going to make us grow a bit too. We do the preliminary economic assessment. That's another step, and it's confidence building, not only for us in the company, but for our shareholders and to the market. So that's going to be followed by our exploration plan of operations. We filed that in November 2023. We've been working with the Bureau of Land Management. We're going to be going through an environmental assessment process. and hopefully we will get that at the end of this year, November, December of this year. So that'll allow us in 2025 to drill out the resource. So we plan to drill about 90 holes. You know, we've got 20 holes.
That's a big program.
Big program, yeah.
Yeah.
We've got 20 holes drilled so far, so we plan to drill up to about 90 holes. And then following that, we'll be able to incorporate that into our definitive feasibility study, or a bankable feasibility study.
Wow, sounds like you guys have, you know, obviously a really tight plan in place, and like you say, you just keep leveling up and leveling up and leveling up. We wish you all the continued success to just keep knocking them out of the park.
Thanks, Jonathan, and maybe you can come back next year at this time and just do an update for everybody. That'd be great too.
We'd love to. Maybe when the salt flats are a little drier.
Okay.
Cheers, Greg. Thanks so much. It's been an unbelievable trip. What I love about Surge Battery Metals is they've got a deposit in the #1 mining jurisdiction in the world. It's high grade, it's close to surface, they're permitted, exploration activities are ongoing constantly, they're having great success, a lot of chance to expand the resource. They're undertaking the preliminary economic assessment and all the pieces that go into it, environmental studies, indigenous relations, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This team is knocking them down. Day after day, they're delivering, and the results will speak for themselves. We look forward to seeing what Surge is going to do next. We wish them all the success in the future and have no doubt that they're going to kill it.